Hey there. I just had an idea that I thought I would think through on video because I was having a lot of fun dancing with it in my head and I kept wanting to talk about it. So let's take a look at what I was thinking before I was cooking breakfast in the kitchen. There's a quality of being sensitively aware of an environment and being able to kind of sponge or sense things that are around you, or, just in that kind of like that feeling, the tone of a room, feelings, all of that stuff. And that's a watery quality. And then there is also the ability to use one's will or project forward, and that's a fiery quality. And those two things, I was thinking about how like there's a quality like in the with your thoughts and your emotions and things like that. There's a prerequisite of noticing them, being aware of them. So seeing and being sensitively aware of your own thoughts and feelings, and then in the fire is where you then exercise the aim and the control and the how you project forward those ideas and such. So those two qualities represent a lot of things, but there's a watery and a fiery nature to it. And then I was being into the astrology stuff. The idea that ordering in that process, the way that the wheel rolls, the fires the fires after the water also, and there is a continuum. I started taking it into the air and the earth and seeing this process play out. That then so there's a sensitive awareness to the way things are that then precipitates as water before a fiery aim of how one takes action and how one puts themselves forward, and then that takes on a practical, physical, tangible manifestation, which is the earthy level. What you take aim with your action, with your will, materializes. And how does it take form? Is the earth layer. And then once there is something solid that has taken form, the air layer is a mentality of it that then analyzes, dissects, separates, spreads out. Is a circulating breakdown with a variety or contemplation and ideas, more ideas, that then one sensitively, again in the water, sponges itself to noticing and being aware and being receptive to how those ideas could take form. And so that's the basic process of how, that cycle, water, fire. I mean, you can start it wherever. It's a circle. Fire, earth, water, air. Fire, earth, water, air. Just like the cycle on the Zodiac. So taking that idea and running with it just one step further, I wanted to look at how it goes around the wheel from the beginning to the end in that pattern. So, and how they're linked, because that Pisces Aries mark is a very important place. It's the 0 point, and it's where this kind of idea of this infinite like non-material God soup, oceanic Pisces is before the beginning, the initiation, the start of something in Aries. So it's like God or the collective divine is sensitive in that respect to some new beginning. And this process happens on big scales and small scales. But so, Aries is the start of the zodiac, and so that is a beginning. There's a fiery force projecting forward, moving forward, and that is through identity as that person, and or through whatever is initiating. Then from what action is taken, what is put forward with the Aries impulse, something materializes. You have something solid that drops, that creates, and there is a Taurus solid ability to it. It's an actual experience. You take an action, you own the experience. All these things that you take an action and you own something. It creates something. It materializes. From that, then whatever you have it then takes on different forms in Gemini. It spreads out, it analyzes that solidness, and it complexifies and creates new ideas, new forms, new ways of doing that loop back to Aries of take an action, get a something with Taurus, and then diversify that. That's thinking of all the different ways you can take action and make something, and take action and make something. That's Gemini. Then from all of that cycle of creation, the Cancer, the water impulse, is sensitive to all of that has happened, all the actions and things and ideas, and is sensitively receptive and learning how to, like in its infancy, jive with it and move through it and stay safe in all the different things that could happen from Gemini, all the variety of stuff, the ideas that have been contemplated and manifest through Taurus, from all the actions through Aries. So the water of Cancer is that sensitive to the environment. Cancer's water is sensitive to what's around it, and it then learns how to safely stay safe and nurture what what its creation egg is. It's a sensitivity, and it gets sensitive to the mass impulse. It's sensitive. Cancer is sensitive to the mass kind of tone in a sense also, but it personalizes it for its personal safety and nurturance. From what it learns and is sensitive to, Leo's energy then radiates forward something that the masses' energy will love and thrive on. Its sense of identity and what makes it special and that creative, how it shines, is put forward in 360-degree radiation as the sun from what the lunar Cancer impressions have molded to be safe and acceptable and fit for safely moving through the collective soup of very complex, diversified variety of Gemini, all the manifestations of Taurus from the actions of Aries that have been initiated. So it moves through that cycle of that to establish what is safe, and then Leo shines what is safe and vibrant and accepted and thriving and all of those radiant qualities. And then from what it shines, and again this is the fire projecting forth, it then practicalizes in Virgo. It takes action. Whatever these Leo shining identity expressions are, they then materialize into the Virgo the same way that Aries did into the Taurus. But in Virgo, it's through systems, routines, circuits of work, and it's improvement. It's what does this Leo shining materialize, and how does it serve? How can it be better? How can it manifest better? How can you be as great and bright as you think you are with Leo? Virgo then fine-tunes what it really is materially. How good does it stay in step, in beat? How perfected and regimented and fine-tuned and honed and healthy is it? Is what the Virgo churn of Earth is doing after the Leo. It's the same way that with the initial Aries, just action impulse, you get stuff, you get you get the Taurus sense of substantiability, of the things that are, it's got the Venus, it's the things that are pleasing, the manifestations that we want from the initiated actions. Then the complexities of Gemini, diversifying that towards a collective impression of that in that Cancer energy, then shining through that sense of what is the best of it in Leo, and then actually perfecting that or attempting to perfect that, critiquing that in Virgo. Once that cycle is completed, the other side is the next step of new idea energy, of air energy in Libra, is the idea of there's something other. You have a complete fine-tuned physical expression by the end of Virgo, in a sense, and then it flips to the other side of what could an other, not necessarily better or worse, but different and complementary and harmonizing. So it's the idea of harmonizing and having ideas that make the interaction and the relations more pleasing between this completed Virgo process, Virgo process, and how does it interface with other? Because there's so many others that were generated through Gemini. There's like all this variety. So then whatever we fine tune in Virgo also has an other. And so the ideas that initiate with Libra are about interfacing with other in a pleasing, harmonious fashion. From all of those ideas of how to have pleasing interaction with other, Scorpio starts. Scorpio has that idea where me and other meet. It's also that sex, it's that merge, and it's that sensitive to an other. If Cancer is the sensitivity to your mass environment, what's safe, what's around me, what is the tone, what do people think, what's going on, Scorpio is sensitive to the vibes of an other, a specific. And so it learns how to tune into the depths in others, to be deeply, deeply psychically tuned in, this deep connection with merging with an other. And so that interface is where all the complexities of all relationships happen, where all the, all the complexities, the good, the bad, the losses, the deep parts, the death, the rebirth, the intense emotions, the boiling of interfacing with other. Libra, we want to learn how to initiate with other pleasingly and diplomatically and complementary. But then when we merge all the parts of ourself that we thought we had together from that Virgo process at the bottom, if there's anything there, we're still churning through it, but we're doing it through Scorpio, and it's that sensitivity to an other and the depth of the complications of how we interact with that other, and what that shows us about ourselves, about life, about the deep complexities and the mysteries of life. Scorpio is just so deep, but this wheel can be looked at so many ways. But that sensitively, when you are sensitive to that realm of other, and sensitive to the depths that Scorpio represents in those mysteries, you then learn in Sagittarius how to take aim. And you can take all sorts of aim. Fire, in the Sagittarian sense, is one that shoots its arrow. I have a goal and I strike it. Because in Scorpio, that boiling point, you learn how to navigate the complexities of a lot of different relationships with others, and with the idea of other as life is. There's a sense that other in Libra is the not self, the self and the not self, and those two, navigating that is part of the mysteries of Scorpio in some sense. But as the sensitive Scorpio waters are stewing in that, the Sagittarian aim is how to shoot and get things to happen in a pleasing, moral, divinely guided way. That sign is, it's that idea of seeking truth, and from, there's the Mars and the Scorpio digging to the bottoms and the depths and working through the traumas and the complexities, that then the gold that boils up is how to do that the right way. And Sagittarius then is taking aim in this jovial fashion of optimism and a bright aim that then it is shooting new arrows. If you think of Aries was shooting an arrow that was towards a manifestation, and Leo is exuding arrows all around it, shining of who it is, which then is incubated further in Virgo. Sagittarius is taking the final aim. This is the final four of the Zodiac, and if we look at there's reasons for this order, but in those final four, the last fire of Sagittarius is after the complexities and the mysteries of life are encountered and navigated in Scorpio. It's going from the probationary path in the esoteric sense, to the path of the disciple. You're then disciplining it before the initiation of Capricorn. Because in Sagittarius, it's like, yeah, you can shoot your arrow all over and have this wonderful optimistic, but it's like the problem of Jupiter is too much. So too much materialism, too much success of like, just woo or something. But there's this, you have to bridle the pony. The horse of Sagittarius has to be bridled and disciplined, so that connection between the man and the animal half is disciplined, so that its creations are no longer the stuff that feels good of Taurus or the stuff that works well of Virgo. It has to be the stuff that will lead, and the matter and the manifestations of Capricorn, which then are attaining and structuring and Saturning and holding in a societal sense. What are you really doing that matters? Are you just off running around having a good time as Sagittarius? You having lots of cake and wine? Or are you doing the work that matters in the world at large in Capricorn and demonstrating that you're a master? You might be talking all this, jazz in Sagittarius about I can do whatever you want, but what are you doing? What's it really accomplishing? Is Capricorn comes in for the accomplishment, manifestation, reality part of it. From that, then, what you manifest in Capricorn as your career, as your reputation, as your standing in the world at large, is then subject to be thought about and circulated in the idea realm of Aquarius. So from the aim you take in Sagittarius, you manifest the discipline of accomplishment of the mountain you climb, manifest in the world at large in Capricorn, and then the ideas that you have about that world and how it can be elevated and spread out again. With all the air, there's a spreading out dispersal. Gemini is spreading out all the different manifestations that Taurus can generate. It's diversifying and making as many different, opposite. It's everything. It's a swirl of everything. That's just, so it's circulating that way. Libra is circulating this idea of a contained perfect self that Virgo has established, which is sewn up from everything from Aries into it. That idea, it's then spreading one-on-one in interaction with other. It's folding over in relation with other and spreading. In Aquarius, after Capricorn, what has been the mountain and monument that has been sustained is then spread, like it's spread into the collective. If it's too hard and rigid, it can like break and shatter and fall into a lot of pieces that then are more collectively liberating and elevating. But that's the ideas that are progressive, the ideas that are radical, that are designed to elevate the collective. So when something, a tower and the monument and the mountain gets too high, if it's not, that's a metaphor, something that's coming through with it, but it can shatter so the pieces are elevated or free. It's liberating. It's ideas that are liberating to the collective, that are freeing, that are shocking, that are innovative. It's all of that. It's circulating that. And that idea of moving ahead of the matter. Because Capricorn is the final matter. It's the final earth sign. It's as much as you can do. It's as much as you can accomplishment on the physical world. And so then the ideas and the things that break its pattern and move beyond it, and then free up things that will bring in new matter again soon. And so that revolutionary Aquarian idea energy then is what the collective and the universal cosmic sense is receptive to in Pisces. Pisces is the final water sign in the cycle. And if Cancer is sensitive to the environment. It's sensitive to what's around it. All of the Gemini stuff floating around. It's sensitive to its environment. Its personal, like sensitive, physical, more so environment. It's sensitive to that. Scorpio is sensitive to the depths of someone else, and that requires the depth of the soul. Everything with souls and stuff, you're sitting there tuning in, it's the depth of the soul, it's the depth of of life. It's those deep hidden mysteries. Pisces is the sensitivity to the all, the impulse of God, the universal. It's sensitive to God. It's sensitive to the all. And so from the Aquarian ideas, we accomplish something in Capricorn and it's awesome. And then we have ideas that move beyond it in this Aquarian energy. And all of that is then more thought, more for the water to be sensitive to, is for it to imagine. Pisces is the imagination. And so once it's been thought of, we can imagine into it and reflect into it and be sensitive to it. And from that sensitive to that all universal collective one, it's everything all at once sensitivity to that, a brand new action is initiated in Aries as it starts over again. And there's a new impulse and there's a new beginning toward a new something. And this thing happens on big scales and small scales. And so that's one roll through it that was streaming on my channel today. So I hope you got something fun out of it, because I know I sure have, just like rolling with it. So anyway, have a wonderful rest of the day, and look forward to having something streamed down my channel again sometime.